Hey guys, what is up? Maverick here with another episode of Dorohedoro. I look forward to this every single week. I'm reading the manga as well, although I am refraining from spoiling myself since I want to do these anime episodes blind. However, it took a lot of self-restraint for me to not go on and read forward last week because we were on the cusp of something really interesting, right? Kaiman and Nikaido were about to make their travel to the Sorcerer's World, and that's particularly interesting because one, Nikaido was a former sorcerer there, right? So I'm really interested to see how she feels about going back and whatnot. And number two, because and then the others during last episode, they managed to find the guy inside Kaiman, that sorcerer's head, basically. And I do have a feeling that probably within this arc, I guess you could call it, Kaiman is going to confront En and the others. He's going to see the head of that dude inside him, and perhaps some other interesting things are going to come out of it. Now, I could be completely wrong as well. In any case, let's find out within the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. What? Bunny ears? Oh, is this like their mask or something? They're trying to pass as sorcerers. Oh. Does, does he know about her situation? That is definitely a creepy door. And opening. Of course. Well, I guess we shall just wait a little bit more. I said, this is really... I wonder... I think Nikaido will probably keep Kaiman in check, mostly. I'm sure she doesn't want to attract too much attention to herself, either. Such... I still think it's a shame that this wasn't animated a little bit better. Well, I guess I should clarify. It's not animated better, but I wish the artwork was a little bit closer to the style of the manga. I mean, it's being done by Mappa. They're a pretty talented studio as well. So I don't know. They made the decision. I'm in Wonderland. Wow. Well, I guess to someone who's only been, in the hole, this should be pretty interesting to him. Yep, it's just keeping him in check. Nick. Huh. So they can actually enhance their casting abilities through surgery. He's dead. Ooh. Dang. Abby's really like she has intelligence of a 5-year-old right now. I knew it. But still though, I think beyond training, I don't know actually. Does your sorcery level, can it be improved by training? He's just gonna kill him. Brutal. Huh. So I guess it was powered by sorcery? Ooh, what now? Oh! He's revived! Okay, they probably... Oh wait, no, never mind. Their new nest? On Faction Wars? Q. Fire flushing. I mean, that's... seems practical, I guess. I guess she's going to ask some stuff in regards. Hmm. Are these the same devils that actually makes the high level masks? That's why he needs to use the toilet. Right? I guess he's weak to booze, or his body is incompatible with. Oh. So yeah, this guy is Kaiman. Reese. Oh, I think fire. Yeah, I can see why that would be one of the most famous things about this restaurant. Yeah, so that actually is kind of important. Those were the drug dealing group, right? The one dealing with black powder? Oh. Hmm. So they're going to meet each other here. Huh. Yeah, these guys all have that. But if that... Hmm. Oh, she has self-healing as well. But I mean, why doesn't In and those people recognize the cross on Risu's face? The cross eyes. Oh, I believe Shin's abilities allow him to... allows him to cut people but still leave them alive. Room buying again? Oh no. A body. And the guy in the bag is probably gonna recognize Risu, right? Or Risu's gonna recognize him. Well, would it be funny if he was actually the boss of the Cross Eyes? It's gonna be like super high quality smoke. Hey, Ebisu. Just like that. Wasn't there? Yeah, there's a security cam there. Ask a devil for... Can't be creating a mask, right? Why would she want to do that? Ask him questions? Oh. Damn. Nikaido is really, really top tier in the sorcerer world. When using your magic being the easiest. To do something like this? I'm really curious what her ability is. She's blushing. Yeah, there he is. Ah, Nikaido's just directly. Oh, this girl, yeah. I do think Kaido is a little bit rash in that. I guess she has more faith in her own abilities. Is it just me, or has the ending song kind of changed? What? Getting some doom in here? Boom. Okay, this is really funny, but run! I wonder if they actually like did a mod for Doom or something. Or I mean, I guess it's possible to just animate this as well. All right, that was pretty funny. Okay. True. Okay. All right. See you guys after this. Oh man, episode after episode, this anime does not disappoint. I also, like I said before, I am reading the manga in conjunction with the anime. So wherever the anime stops, I'll also read the manga up to that point, up to that chapter, to see if there's anything I missed. So again, there were some things omitted from the anime that I'll be talking about right now. I guess spoiler alert if you guys feel that you want to read the manga by yourselves or something. So spoiler finger. If you want to avoid spoilers, wait until you can mute it now and wait until I put my finger down. So I think there's three big sort of spoilers here from the manga, or I can't even say spoilers, but more like additional information, right? Number one is En actually made a conscious decision to fix Rizu's body later. That's why he's using these mechanical parts as part of his body. And probably I'm sure that he didn't really think too much of it. The explanation given in the manga was that he'll offer to fix his body after Rizu spills the beans, so to speak, after he gets good information, and then En will decide to reward him, something like that. However, this might have inadvertently been a very good decision for him, because I have a sneaking suspicion that if if Risu's body was actually healed by Noi and given back to him, there would probably be a lot of chaos, because I have a feeling that Risu is definitely not someone to be trifled with. Number two is in the anime where Nikaido was going around selling her smoke and then killing off the shopkeeper, right? We saw the security camera footage and whatnot, security camera perspective, but that wasn't actually present in the manga. So I thought that was going to be some sort of foreshadowing, like later on they found out about her abilities or whatnot because of the security camera, and so they got more sneaking suspicions of what Nikaido actually was and her smoke and abilities and so on and so forth, but that wasn't actually present in the manga. I mean, it's still possible that it'll come up later and they just did not actually, the author maybe did not think to put that in originally, but I feel like that is a sort of a key difference between the anime and the manga as well. And number three is, I feel the anime also sort of showed this, but I think it was a lot more prominent in the manga. And so that is at the very end there with En bringing in the severed head of the other cross-eyed gang member. He was looking to Risu's reaction, right? And in the anime, it was more like he's just thinking, hey, this guy really doesn't know anything. Is he just stupid or something? But I feel like in the manga, it was much more obvious that he's really, really suspicious of Risu right now, because Risu actually also in the manga sort of glared. Perhaps to En, perhaps somewhere else. It's not entirely apparent, but En was able to catch that. So I think he has this sneaking suspicion that Rizu is much more like he's trying to play dumb right now, basically. And there is definitely a lot more to him than he's showing off right now, like being this non-magical user, being one of the cross-eyes who, as we learn here, are more on the lower tier of the sorcerer world, right? Alright, so there we go. That was the differences between the anime and the manga. So, as for this episode in particular, it pretty much went as expected. So, Nikaido and Kaiman went to the sorcerer's world, managed to not get themselves into too much trouble. Of course, still killing, slaying whenever they need to, but not really making a big commotion, right? Now, the one thing that is apparent from this episode is that Nikaido is really a much bigger deal than I initially expected, right? So, I already knew that she's probably an elite sorcerer, considering that she can make a door and whatnot. So, she's already of the upper echelons of the sorcerer world. And by the way, so this is also something, I don't view this as a spoiler, but more of world building. In the manga, it was actually said that the lower tier sorcerers within the sorcerer world, those that don't have the capability to ask for their own mask from a demon, similar to like Shin or En or Noi, those, or Ebisu, basically, the others are more living in the same sort of rundown, poverty, hellhole situation, similar to those living in the hole, right? So, I mentioned this before as well, within the Sorcerer Society, there is also a clear tier system as well, the elites and the non-elites. And so we already knew that Nikaido was part of the elites here, simply due to her magical strength, magical abilities. However, from this episode, it seems that even within the elites, she's probably of a really, really high tier. Like, she is the 1%, let's put it that way. And particularly, thinking about a few episodes ago when they were talking about the rare abilities of the sorcerers here. So, En actually, was it En? I forgot who it was, but basically it was mentioned that there are abilities that are very rare and sought after within the sorcerers. Anything to do with healing, anything to do with reviving the dead. So that's why Noi is a really she is also she has a very rare ability, and so that's also why her status can be so high, and so on and so forth. And was looking for another partner that could revive the dead. That's one thing. Another thing would be something to do with time, like time travel or reverse time, stop time, those kinds of abilities, right? And since right now we already have people who can do healing, people who can revive the dead, I'm willing to bet that Nikaido's ability has something to do with time. Maybe not exactly time travel, but something related with it, right? And it would also fit in with this episode in particular, where the demon was talking to her and saying, hey, if you just use her ability, all of this would be solved much easier, right? So definitely, she has a very top tier ability, and it's probably something to do with time. But I guess we'll learn more about that in the next few episodes, because I'm sure within this kind of situation, with her already barging into N's place, she's probably gonna get herself into trouble and will have to use her abilities. Beyond that, we also get a little bit more background information between N's group and the cross-eyed groups and whatnot. So I think right now what it can be viewed as is the N's group, or what they are doing. They're more like the mafia, right? The elite of the elite, even within organized crime and whatnot. And the cross-eyed group, the cross-eyed gang, they are basically like normal gangs, right? So the mafia, they control most of the money. Some legit, some illegit, and I think a few episodes ago, or actually last episode, N was actually buying a broom, right? I do believe that a commenter said that he was actually buying those to sell later, so probably importing them and making, having his own dealerships and whatnot. I mean, that's something that the mafia did as well. They did a lot of legitimate business, except that they have traces of illegitimate stuff in there, such as extortion, such as tax evasion, those kind of stuff, right? So that is what N's group is more like. Whereas the normal gangs, such as those of the Cross Eyes, they're dealing with stuff more, some stuff like robberies, stuff like theft, or peddling drugs, right? We saw in the last episode as well, where one of the Crossed Eyes was actually behind selling the black powder, which N vehemently despises, right? And he despises it because he thinks the black powder should only be used by those who, whose magical abilities don't really cut it. Right, so, and it's also going to get people addicted and whatnot, so he doesn't deal with them. But that's definitely something that the normal gangs would try to deal with. So it has this kind of context as well. And what does this have to do with the entire story, right? Well, we know that Kaiman's, his memories or whatnot are sort of mixed together with Risu. So I think by this point, it's pretty safe to say that Kaiman is equal to Risu. Through some kind of accident, or perhaps Risu did it to himself, he was the one who sort of, I don't know, maybe made himself into this Kaiman character. It's also a possibility that this is a split personality, something like that. We'll have to see, right? But one thing that I'm also going to guess right here is, it's kind of a long shot, but I think Risu might be the boss of the Crossed Eyes, right? Because if you recall, in this episode, one of the Crossed Eye members was saying that the boss was dead, right? And so Risu was originally also found to be dead. And considering, he's just this normal gang member who doesn't really have any magic, and he's purported to be like a new member to the Cross-Eyed Gang, and so not really having much, any prominent status or whatnot. We see him also going, oh, and please don't kill me, that kind of stuff. And yet later on, we see him, basically just being there like a badass and not really afraid of doing anything. So I think he's, if not the boss, then at least a pretty big shot within the Cross-Eyed Gang. With that being said, even if he were the boss of that, I don't know. The only reason I'm holding back from that is because, in the words of Demon, the Cross-Eyed Gang aren't exactly a big gang or prominent gang as well. They're just some no-gooders who don't really have much magic and so on and so forth. So even being the boss of them, you know, what does that exactly mean, right? I guess it could be possible that Risu utilized black powder, maybe did some things to enhance his own sorcerer abilities and whatnot, and that's where the story is going. But I don't know. It's just, I think, if anything, but I don't have any more information, so that's my prediction holding as of right now. So one, I think Nikaido is definitely a elite tier sorcerer whose abilities probably have to do with time, and number two, Kaiman is Risu, and Risu is actually the boss of the cross-side gangs. So that is my predictions for now. Man, I really want to. You guys have no idea how hard it is for me to really hold myself and not click on next chapter for the manga and whatnot, because man, those I really want to. This is one of those works where it just sucks you in. You just want to keep going forward and learn like what exactly is going to happen. I want to learn more about this world. I want to learn more about this backstory. I want to see some awesome fights and whatnot. I like the characters as well. It's great. It is great. But I guess that's that. We can only wait until next week until we see what's gonna happen. Particularly between Nikaido and Noi and the rest of N's crew, right? Although I'm sure that Kaiman will show up sometime or another. So there we go. That is my review of Dorohedoro episode 5. Really looking forward to next week, and I hope I see you guys again as well. Bye bye.